Hi everybody, welcome to today's video. We are going to be talking about the Zhiyun Gimbal 3S, which is what I have here. This is a professional gimbal for medium to large size cameras. I will be talking you through the specs, the features, some example footage, and my overall thoughts. What I'll do is I'll timestamp everything so that if you want to skip ahead to different chapters, it's all at the bottom of this video. Now, to properly showcase this gimbal, today I am filming in a beautiful location. This is the Grain store in Lewes. I've made quite a few videos here, a few tutorials, so if you're interested or maybe even want to stay at this location, the links are in the description below. Okay, no bonus points for guessing which time of year I filmed this video. Moving on, how much weight will this hold? Well, it's not actually that black and white. If you go on their website, they have got a complete breakdown of maybe hundreds of different combinations of cameras and lenses. And to cut a long story short, it depends on how balanced the lens and the camera is. Sometimes you have a heavy lens and a small camera which is front heavy, so therefore it may not be able to hold that. But they do say on their website it will hold a Nikon D850 and a 24-70 f2.8. The combined weight of those two things are 2 kilograms, so this will comfortably hold 2 kilograms. And to make the walkthrough of this building today, I'm going to be using the Sony A7 IV and the 20-70mm f4. This doesn't actually weigh much. I think it's something like 1.2, 1.3 kilograms. I'm also going to be using a wide angle lens, a 16-28 f2.8. So I'm not really pushing the limits of this, but that's the kit that I'm using today. Okay, let me give you a quick tour of the gimbal. Now, before we get into the detail of the combo kit, which is this additional arm here, this is what the gimbal comes as. Now, that is detachable. Just undo that mini tripod, and this is quite recognizable because this is what most gimbals look like. The main variation between gimbals is predominantly features and the strength of the motors, therefore whether or not it's suited to a small action camera, medium-sized mirrorless, or a much larger setup. And before we add on the combo kit extras, let's just have a quick tour of the gimbal. The Gimbal 3S is approximately 39 centimeters high once assembled and 24 centimeters wide and deep. The main grip is a good size and it's predominantly rubber. The internal battery is accommodated within the handle, which provides 11.5 hours use, which can be fully charged in 2 hours. The grip is designed for right-handed users, with the jog dial, mode button and record button all within your thumb's reach. To the right of that is a small display screen which provides information about the stabilisation mode, battery life, Bluetooth connection and access to the menus. On the right hand side of the grip is the power and menu button. Next to that is a horizontal scroll wheel for navigating the menus and controlling the built-in light. On the front of the handle is a trigger button and another scroll wheel, both of which can be customised. On the left of the handle is a USB-C charging port. The main three arms that support the camera are metal with a plastic trim. They have individual locks to allow them to be locked when balanced, as well as locked for transportation. The arms are a good size, allowing for a large camera to be accommodated, and in my particular setup the camera is set high enough to flip out the screen once balanced. There is a built-in LED, which I'll discuss in more detail, and a USB-C port for direct connection to your camera via cable. To the underside of the handle is a quick release plate, which slides into the combo base, providing connection to the wrist support and extension arm. The wrist support can be adjusted by turning the wheel on the front. The side arm can be extended and rotated to suit your preferred shooting position. The sidearm has a thread on the top of it, allowing you to mount an off-camera light or microphone without affecting the balance of the gimbal. I find the built-in light is good for fill during the daytime or in low light. However, in very low light situations, I find it to be too bright, even at its lowest setting. And therefore, I prefer a larger, more diffuse light off camera, which the extension arm is really handy for. There is also a thread in the base of the combo accessory, allowing it to be supported on the provided tripod, or any other accessory of your choice. The gimbal can be purchased on its own, which I'll put links to down in the description. Alternatively, you can opt to get this quick release plate with the extension arm and the wrist support. So I'm going to put that on because actually that is what I would recommend you purchase. So this has got a quick release plate on the bottom of the gimbal handle. Just slide that on, put the safety lock on, and then you put the miniature tripod into the bottom of that. There you go. And that is what the combo kit looks like. So once you've got the extras added on, which come with the combo kit, let me show you the various different combinations of how you can hold this for a more comfortable experience. So if you didn't have the combo kit, traditional gimbals, you're typically maybe holding it two hands or one-handed, and you're kind of cantilevering the camera away from your body. I mean, traditionally, if you were hand holding something, you would tuck your elbows into your chest for maximum stability and stabilization. But when you're using gimbals, sometimes you might be doing large movements and everything, and therefore the most effective use is not to have it so close to your body. So this is what leads to kind of shoulder pain and lower back pain. You're cantilevering quite a heavy weight out here. So you can see here the immediate benefit of having this wrist support is actually distributing the weight better on your arm. Plus the handle on this side, you can see I've now got a second point of contact. So there are quite a few different combinations of how you can hold this. You can obviously hold it one-handed. When you want to join with the second hand, you can do that there. This handle on the side can be loosened so that you can rotate that behind the camera. So just tighten that back up again. So you may want to be holding it in this formation, and you can hold it from here. Low slung mode if you want to. So you could be doing some low shots and then bring them up to here, back on two hands. You've also got the miniature tripod. So you fold those down and you can see I'm still two-handed, but I'm holding the miniature tripod and the main handle up here. So you can see how many different combinations you've got, but predominantly you're going to be holding on to the handle here because that's where you get that additional wrist support. So I think that the ergonomics of this is really going to help you if you're shooting for long periods of time. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll probably know that I really loathe different tripod plates, and unfortunately the Weebill 3S requires a Manfrotto plate, but there is good news because Small Rig have actually made a quick release plate for this. So you'll see I've actually taken off the standard plate that comes with this, and see a Manfrotto plate looks like this. You can see it's a really long plate, and that's necessary because this gimbal can actually take quite a large camera and lens combination. But if you're like me and you're in the Arca Swiss world of tripod plates, I'll put the model number to the Small Rig extra on the wall here, and that will allow you to keep your Arca Swiss plate on the bottom of your camera, and then you can just put it straight on the gimbal like so, without needing any tools or anything. And of course this will still be balanced because the camera is in the same place. Now, in terms of the size of the gimbal, if I take my camera off, then you'll see what it folds down to, because you can actually lock it in position. This is locked in the open position. Now, if you undo the locks on there and the locks on there, then you can see that the gimbal, it's not massive, but it's not small either. It would probably take up about half a camera bag, or one of the large compartments on a camera bag. So, and plus you're gonna have to take off the plate, which I don't want to because my camera is already perfectly balanced. Now, if you turn the gimbal around, you'll see that there is a digital display on the back. It's not massive, it's not color, and it's not touchscreen, but it just gives you the basics of what you need to control the gimbal. Now, as I've already mentioned, this has actually got Bluetooth, and I've used quite a few different gimbals when I've been trying to connect them to my camera, and previously I've used cables because of the delay in the connection. However, this has been very reliable actually. So I have paired my camera and this gimbal, and they connect with one another, and all I need to do now is just press this red record button and then it starts recording. Press it again and it stops recording. If you press it halfway down, it focuses. So very much like the shutter button on your camera, you don't need to now let go of the gimbal. You can start recording with your thumb, which is a really nice feature. I know that's not new to gimbals. However, I've not had such a seamless experience as I have with this in terms of constant connection with Bluetooth. One of the things I would mention though is if you switch the gimbal off, it does take around 10 seconds again for the Bluetooth to reconnect to the camera. So don't expect to be able to just turn the camera on and press that record button, because it's not going to work like that. As well as the handle, so you've got the record button, which is within your thumb's reach. You've got the mode button, which allows you to go from pan follow. So pan follow, it has a very smooth movement left and right, but it does not tilt up and down, so that's pan follow. Then you've got linear, which literally just points in the same direction regardless of what I do with this. And then you've got follow mode, which will also include tilting, and it's just very subtle movement of wherever you point the handle. So they're the basic modes. If you triple click on that, then you'll get point of view. So that will now roll as well. These are the typical features you get on most gimbals now, but point of view is quite a new one to me. Kind of gives you a floaty look where the gimbal is actually breaking the horizon with the roll as well. Also, if you were to double tap whilst in point of view mode, okay, and because I've got the Bluetooth connected, I'm just going to press the record button on there, so that's now recording. I'm going to press the jog dial and you'll see that this is rotating towards my camera setup. That is the vortex mode, which I think we've all seen before, but just wanted to let you know that that is built into this gimbal. So on the front of the handle, you've got a trigger button. So if the camera were to be pointing in an awkward position, you can double tap that and it will recenter the gimbal. If you triple click that, it will face towards you for selfie mode. And then if I have that back there, if you hold down the trigger button, this is now in go mode. So it's got very quick reaction time. So if you're filming something very erratic, but you still want stabilization, go mode might be the one that you need. Let me show you how you mount this vertically. Okay, I will attempt to do this in one take so that you can see how quick or slow this is. So I'm going to turn off the power to the gimbal and then lock all of the arms in place. Okay, that's locked. And then we take off that. There's a safety catch, so you press that button and then the whole camera and tripod plate will be released, and then you slide that on there like so. And what you need to do is you need to balance that one. That's almost there, you know. Oh, I had the camera on a coaster, that's no good. Hold on, let's try that again. All right, yeah, that's good. Okay, so I only needed to rebalance the roll. So if I undo that and I undo that, going from horizontal to portrait, I've not had to completely rebalance my camera at all. So there you go. Now we have a perfectly balanced camera in vertical mode. If you're shooting anything for social media or you just want vertical video, there you go. Okay, so let's put that back into horizontal mode. See how quickly I can do this. How long was that? 30 seconds maybe, to take it from vertical to horizontal, balanced on the gimbal. There you go. And of course, like most new gimbals, this has an app that you can connect to. So I've just gone on to the Play app. It's connecting via Bluetooth. I can all of a sudden control the gimbal from my phone. Now, one of the helpful features on the app is doing a trajectory. So essentially you can say, I want the camera to start facing up that way, and then you add a point on here, and then you say, I want it to finish facing down there. And I've said, I want it to follow those camera moves over the course of 15 seconds. And I'll just name that test 3, 2, 1, and then it's going to start that. So what this is helpful for, if you were to do a moving time lapse, you can essentially say, I want to pan from this side of the building to that side of the building over the course of 10 minutes, and then you essentially get a hyperlapse. So this is all built in, but you will need to connect that to the app itself, and then you can program different positions for the camera to move to. Another popular feature on gimbals is to have an integrated light, and this has one as well. There's a wheel on the side, you just hold it down and then it switches on and off. And then if you scroll through the wheel, you've got control over the power. So that's at 10%, that's at 100%, and you press it once more and you can control the white balance. That's 5,600 Kelvin, which is daylight balanced. And then if I scroll to the left, you get a warm light, which is 2,600 Kelvin. So you can expect to get up to 11.5 hours battery out of this. And in my opinion, that is plenty enough to be holding a gimbal. And you can expect that battery to be fully charged within 2 hours. All right, that's enough about specs. Let me show you what I've created with this gimbal today. And yes, the Christmas tree did magically disappear. Human error, I didn't balance my camera properly on the day of filming, so I had to come back again. Lesson learned. Okay, in order for the Zhiyun Weebill 3S to be perfect, in my opinion, I think that there are 3 minor upgrades that they could apply. The first one is going to be the screen, because I have the Zhiyun Crane M3. This is 2 years old now, and this has got a better color touchscreen than the Weebill 3S, and this is supposed to be better. Even if it was to be the same screen as we've already got on the M3, that would be an upgrade. The second thing I would like to see them improve upon is the plate itself. It's frustrating for me to have to take off the Arca Swiss plate whenever I want to put my camera, say from a tripod onto my quick release capture clip and then onto a gimbal. You can see here by me purchasing the separate small rig plate, I can now do that without taking off the tripod plate. So I think whether or not they collaborate with small rig and they call this their own, or whether everybody just goes out and buys the small rig, but for me, I think that this quick release plate is a must. And finally, it's about transporting this around, because Zhiyun with the combo kit kindly provide a bag, but it's massive. It's this long and it's tubular, and it comes with some straps on it. So therefore they intend on you just going out just with a gimbal, and they said to me that you shouldn't actually put the camera in it either. So ideally they could redesign the bag so that I can carry that as well as a camera bag. These are all relatively minor points, but I think accumulatively this could become the perfect gimbal if they address those. Around 2017, I did my own research. I watched many reviews and YouTube videos, and in 2017 this one came out on top. This is the Zhiyun Crane V2. Like I said, it's from 2017, and it's very basic, but that's what gimbals were like in 2017. I bought this with my own money. This was my first gimbal, and very happy with it. In 2021, I thought, okay, maybe there's a gimbal that can hold a small but full frame mirrorless camera, and in comes the Zhiyun Crane M3. And this is perfectly capable of carrying a small mirrorless camera. So what I'm filming on at the moment is the Canon R8 with a small prime lens. And this is the gimbal that I've been using with that setup. Absolutely perfect. And this is ideal for if I'm filming myself and other people. However, something like this is more of a professional setup where you're filming other people and other things. And you can see here, I've actually got a dongle on it. I actually strap this to myself onto my camera bag. I would never consider dangling this from a camera strap. No way. I would differentiate this because this can hold a bigger, heavier, more professional kit, zoom lenses, whereas this is for much smaller prime lenses, smaller cameras, and lighter gear generally. So if I were to summarize the Weebill 3S and you're stepping up from something smaller like the Crane M3 or something a bit more basic like the V2, you're not really paying for features as such, although it has got all the latest features. What you're paying for is the motor strength, the power that this has got. I've had a few occasions where I've had my camera slightly balanced incorrectly, or maybe I'm just doing a really strong tilt. This will beep a couple of times and it will switch itself off, probably trying to protect the motors. Whereas the 3S, no complaints whatsoever. This does not mind carrying a heavy camera and lens setup. So what you're getting here is power and ultimately comfort. If you're going to be shooting for long periods of time, I would say get the combo kit. This wrist support and the extending arm just gives you so much flexibility on how you hold the camera, how you carry the camera, and it's just going to do your arms and your back a favor. In summary, I can highly recommend the Zhiyun Weebill 3S. If you have any questions, then let me know in the comments down below. And if you're thinking of picking one up, I'll put a link in the description. If you want to learn more about photographing architecture or making video walkthroughs, then I would recommend watching these videos next. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.